Smooth that sugar sweet. You got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion. Just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat. Destined by the potion. Loving this devotion. Live it up, live it up, sweet emotion. Every time, every night, you and I.
Hello, Chuperines. How are you? You're sleepy? He's yawning. We are in the city. Today I am going to do some brand ambassador work. Oh my god, look at that. Huh. Interesting. I don't think I've seen that in person. Did you see the Dalmatino dog holding the taxi?
Oh no, I see it. Okay.
You've seen it?
Yeah, no, I
in
saw
person?
it before.
I don't recall. Maybe I have.
I worked around.
You worked in the area?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, right now we're gonna go, but we're going to Brooklyn, Canarsie. I think that's how you pronounce it, Canarsie, Brooklyn. It's a neighborhood that is so full of history. I never knew that. Lived not too far from there. And today my work location is over there. Oh my god. They're doing construction in the middle of the day. Crazy. My work starts later and it's around like 2:20 right now p.m. and we're gonna go there first. I'm gonna explore the neighborhood with all of you. My husband is gonna join us. You gonna join us? And yeah, I'm gonna share with you this history of New York. There's so much stuff that I was in shock. I can't wait to share with all of you. The weather has got nice. Look how busy the Brooklyn Bridge is. So many people are enjoying the weather.
Tel Aviv to Kingston connection. Vibe them overflow, no interception. When we touch the road, you know we bless man. Ever bless man. Long time we not no nice time, so we decide to go and get the club tonight. With the queen by my side and the spliff alight. It's just build up inside, now sleep so light. Like fresh cut, fresh shave, just bathe. And me babes, she a put on a dress and a makeup. Just feel bless our best self.
I love the smell of the food. As we're passing through this corner right here, you can smell the Caribbean, African. They were doing a TikTok dance on the street right there. The houses here are absolutely stunning. This is my favorite part of New York City. One of my favorite parts of New York City. experience. We have arrived. We parked our car here in the area, and I wanted to show you there is a center right here. They have like some different stores, restaurants, and we're gonna walk to one, if not the oldest place in New York City, a house that is the oldest house here in New York City. It is the house that I think has started the city, if it's the oldest house in New York, and not just New York City, but actually New York State. Here's our little restaurant right here. They make pasta. It's a nice neighborhood. He wants to be in a video. Here he is. Do you live in the neighborhood? Got it. He said he will be on TV tonight. So this is where I wanted to take you, the Wyckoff House Museum. This is considered the oldest house in New York State. At least that's what I saw. It is actually the oldest structure. Right here it says structure of New York State. Unfortunately, they only have one day a week that they're open, which is Saturdays. And it's between 12 and 2 p.m. You can come and have a public tour of it. They do have other events for the community, and there is a museum inside, but we won't get a chance to see it today. But this is the oldest house, the oldest built structure that was done by Dutch American, and they came here because this is one of the most fertile land that they have found. Here they actually have a garden that, I don't know if this is a community garden or is it part of the museum. Is this Creole, French? What language is this? There's different languages. I think that might even be Dutch. I don't know how Dutch looks when you write it. Way before Peter Clayson Wyckoff came to this area was occupied by the Lenape people. The Lenape, what is it? Lenape people. And this was actually their center. This is where they met. This is where they had their gathering. Canarsie, which is a native Indian name for this location, basically means a fenced area. They have a public book here area. People drop off their books and anyone can grab it. This is so nice. And they also have food scrap drop off site, but I'm sure that there is, okay, here's instructions. So if you live in this area, this is how you can do it. I'm assuming more information is available. Oh, is it this one? Ah, wow, baby, this is, yeah, take what you need, leave what you can. Oh, but nobody drops anything off here. So this is an area where you can drop off something. Somebody left a sandwich there, and if there's something that you need from here, you can take. This is the way the community is supporting each other and helping those who are going through a hard time. That was the Bernie Mars school that is right here in the area. I used to pass by here all the time, but I never knew the name of the school, and I didn't know this was part of Canarsie neighborhood. We have the DEP here as well in the area. Of environmental protection, but don't quote me on it for sure. It is for New York City, but I think there's more than one location that they have, and this is one of them here in Canarsie. We're right now driving down Flatlands Avenue. I think it's Flatlands Avenue.
Ralph Ave.
We were just driving down Flatlands Avenue, right now in Ralph Avenue, and Flatlands, for me, when I heard that name, I always thought of the Native Americans, but I never knew that actually in this area of New York City is where the Native Americans used to live. I was always curious to know, because I knew that before New York became New York, there were Native Americans living here, and I didn't know where they were living. I was always very curious. I remember reading about the Dutch and the Irish coming here. And people are also ready for Easter in the neighborhood. We are driving down to get to Canarsie Park, which comes out on the water. The Canarsie had at least 2 major settlements in what's now Canarsie. One was built by the Canarsie Beach, close to the water, perfect for fishing, clamming, and launching canoes. And the other one was inland, closer to now Flatlands, which is the Flatlands Avenue, where they grew the 3 sisters: corn, beans, and squash in fertile soil. These weren't scattered camps, they were organized, sustainable communities. Longhouses stood among cleared fields, and footpaths connected one village to another across what we now call the Brooklyn and Queens. Here you get to see one of the big shopping centers that there are even people who don't live in this area of Canarsie or close to the beach that come and shop because they have telco, they have like bigger stores. And I think the mall is also nearby. They have Flora Design right here, Florist and Garden Center. You can come get your plants, your flowers. The South Shore High School. The Canarsie were known as traders and stewards. Because of their location at the southern eastern edge of Brooklyn, they served as an intermediary between inland Lenape groups and other tribes on Long Island like the Rockaway or Massapequa people. They traded wampum, sacred shell beads used as currency, furs, food, and crafted tools. Their waterways, especially the Pier de Gat Basin, were like highways. Apologies, I don't know how to pronounce that. Canoes would travel from Jamaica Bay through the inlets carrying goods and messages. To the Canarsie, the land wasn't property, it was sacred. Every stream, every grove had meaning. They understood the tides, the stars, the seasons. Canarsie wasn't just where they lived, it was where they belonged. Today here, there is a bike lane. People can use it. There is the park. This park I've been wanting to come to for a very, very long time. Since I moved to Brooklyn and I had a car, I remember discovering it. And I always wanted to come here, but I've never done it. Isn't it so interesting how life sometimes unexpectedly has you get to a place where you have to explore a place and you've been wanting to explore it for a while? Well, this is it. There's a playground right here. I think this is a skating park. That's what it looks like to me. And you have birds. Spring is blooming and everything is getting green slowly. The Canarsie clan also passed things down the mother line. Basically, they were a matriarchal society where women made decisions around food, land, community, which means they held significant power compared to the society that we live today in. And I just saw a few people walk this way a moment ago, and I can tell that people would walk here going towards the river. It could be easily a path that was used also by the Canarsie people, because an interesting fact that I discovered doing the research on this community here is that a lot of the pavements could actually be where the Canarsie had their own paths to go to the beach, to fish, or to walk to other communities or other homes. Wow. Yeah. Do you guys live in the area?
Yeah.
Do you know the history? Like, it's so incredible, the Canarsie history. I didn't know it. I was just researching it.
Yeah, me too. The Native American.
Yeah, like I was like, oh my, because I always wondered where in the city they lived.
This is where they
And this is where they live. Do you mind being in the video? Okay.
Canarsie is actually named after them.
Yeah.
Canarsie tribe.
Yeah, like I was like,
Canarsie, yeah.
so yeah, they were like one of the tribes of the Lenape.
Yeah, the Lenape.
Wow, I was like, oh my God. Yeah, I always wanted to visit this park here and I never came. And I have like a job nearby and I was like, you know what, while I'm here, why not like research a little bit of the area? And I was shocked.
It was, yeah, I just Googled it. Wow, wow.
And one other thing that I want to tell you, because you happen to be an African American, or I don't know which way you identify yourself, but isn't it interesting how you guys chose to come in this area?
That's what I was Googling. Like, what made them come over here?
Honestly, like, made me cry, because I was like, you guys been through so much hard stuff, and for you to actually choose and to come to the neighborhood.
If you want to, you can research the flags of the park. They actually have flags that represent the African Americans, like for them like being hung in the parks, like lynching and stuff.
Yeah.
So they put the flags there for us to kind of feel comfortable being in parks. So that's good
Wow.
to know. So now that you're doing the history of Canarsie Park, you can actually look into that too.
Oh my God, like, I feel like I have to come back here and do another video.
And look, you can sit here and meditate.
Yeah, it's incredible, the story. Thank you for sharing that part. That part didn't show up for me when I like
You can
Googled
Google
it.
it. The NYC Park, just find out what the black flags mean in of every NYC park.
Wow, I didn't know that. I've actually never heard of it. So thank you for sharing it with me. Yeah, and I'm assuming that they might have even come here and fished, because there used to be clam here in this water.
Right there, look.
I mean, I saw but now we can't eat them.
Oh no, I wouldn't want to eat the clam from here.
But back in the days, they actually had them. Like, they ate them and they would sell them.
Community. So it's like we have the docks and all that stuff.
Incredible how much history there is here, and how much of it got destroyed with the society that we live right now, which is patriarchal, which I really do think it has to do a lot of destruction. Yes, we build in one side, but the fact that we removed completely the matriarchal part.
They're trying to erase the history of it.
Try to resist the history.
Pay to do research, see?
Yeah, and for me it's more like, it's heartbreaking, because I feel like we can work together instead of working against each other. And the fact that we're working against each other, we actually lost what this area used to provide, which is fishing.
Teach each other more.
Exactly.
Blend the culture.
Exactly. All right, I'm gonna leave you guys. You enjoy your time. Yeah, so walking here to me is unbelievable that I get to walk in an area that Native Americans used to walk here, and also the Dutch settlers that came here originally, they also became fishermen. This area here took a while for it to get settled and populated the way we see it today, but it was originally as the Indians left, because Lenape people were pushed out of this area slowly by the Europeans taking over. They did not see land as property. They saw them being one with the land, and that's the reason why there were so many agreements. And at first the Dutch were leasing the land, but then they bought the land. Though I don't really know if they understood what buying the land was, because they didn't buy land. For them, land wasn't something you can possess. It didn't belong to you, it belonged to nature. And they got pushed out of this area, and some of them moved to New Jersey and Pennsylvania. But afterwards, they even got pushed even further westward. And we don't really know what happened, but clearly there were a lot of broken promises that were happening. As we know, the people that we are today, and I'm talking about all of us, because we all play a role in this, is we are more about how can we trick others and then possess something that we think we don't have or that we need, rather than learn to work together. And that's what I mean by it's so sad. It's so sad that we're only doing things in one way. And here you guys can see the tide actually goes all the way up, right? Right now it's low tide. And we have so many clams right here. Wow. Imagine being able to actually have this, to eat it. This would be another industry for New York that is completely wiped out of this area, and another source for employment and people being able to make their own money and have a job. But I also think it would really help with the mental and emotional instability that we're seeing happen in a lot of big cities, but specifically I'm talking about New York because I lived here. I think that if we had kept being in touch with this nature here, we would not suffer as much mental and emotional problems, because nature heals and we are made by nature. We like it or not, we are. Unfortunately, we're one of the species who is destroying more than contributing. And yeah. Here are the ducks. They seem to be happy here. They look very happy right here. Duckies! Right here we're walking on a village side, and if we got quiet for a moment, we might even be able to hear the footsteps, the rituals, and the love that the Native Americans, Canarsie people, provided. Some communities were even displaced in like Oklahoma and Canada, but their spirit still lives here, which is what has me be very emotional as I make this video. I did not expect to be impacted in such a way, and it is something I've been desiring to learn about New York City. And now that I'm here and I get to see the land where the Indians of New York, the Native Americans of New York lived. I mean, right now you can look at, is that like fertilization? I can't tell. Like there's a lot of poop looking like stuff. So I think that's fertilizer, because I don't believe that if there's so many dogs here that you can have this area look like that. You can tell. This park right here gives you a really good understanding of the land and how good it is. It's dark, it's a fertile part. And what did we do with one of the most fertile areas here of New York? Well, we took over and we built homes, when in reality this is the land that we should be using for cultivating crops, plants, and all those things that provide us with food that is essential to our survival. I strongly believe wouldn't have happened, at least not at this extent, if we had a more balanced system and women were making decisions when it came out to land. An interesting fact that one I think few people might know is a lot of these pavements that we see that we're walking on right now, underneath them there are Native American paths that would be right here. And what we did is we paved them down, and now we're using it for our own needs. In this case, we're in a park, so we're using it for our recreation and being in nature. I earlier, while talking to the lady in the community here that was there with her partner, mentioned that how interesting is that the African Americans, the Black, whatever way you identify, chose to specifically come and take over these parts as they were fighting for their own freedom. For me, that is something so meaningful, because this neighborhood had so many changes throughout history. First it was Dutch, then the English came. There were even a period of time, I think around World War I, when there was a mini Coney Island here. There was rides and games, an area for recreation. And even before that, and I think a little bit after that, there were still a lot of hotels and resorts. There was a train that came all the way here. I think on the Google said the L line, but I don't know if the L line comes this far out right now for the subway, but it was on the ground. So that was the railroad that came to these areas when other parts of the state or the city didn't have a railroad. So it was a significant part because of fishing and transportation that was done with the water. In the 1700s, it became a farming town. So the Dutch converted this land where the Native American used to farm. They started farming their own crops. In the 1800s, it became a fishing and oyster heaven. So at that time, you still were able to eat fish from this neighborhood. In the 1600s is when the Dutch came to these areas and they offered beads, food, tools in exchange for the land. For them, this meant owning the land, while the Native Americans took it more as like, we're sharing it. We are doing this together. For them, losing the land was not something they thought about or even worried about, because there was no such a thing as ownership. And this land changed hands, but not through fairness. Unfortunately, the Native Americans were tricked into giving up their land, because for them there was no such a thing as ownership. There was mutual respect, value, because land for them was honored, shared, and respected. As the English later came in the 1700s, this became a farming town. In the 1800s, this area was known as the fishing area, and the oysters and clams from this area became famous. And in the 1900s, it was something that was known like a family-owned town, family farms, and also a favorite day trip destination where many people came for a day to enjoy the shore and have some delicious seafood. Right now, we get to see where the old meets the new right here. We're right under the two bridges that connect Brooklyn and Queens. And as you can see, there's families spending time here. Someone is fishing. In the 20th century is when the L train came here, which was the subway system that was created. And lot more people came to live in this area. It is when the Italian and Jewish settled in. It was considered a working class, quiet neighborhood. This area at that time was known as an area where you saw people in the front yards planting roses and flowers, and the kids would ride bikes and run around. It was very much a family neighborhood. And then in the 1970s and 1980s is when a lot of the white community, but then you had the black community move in. The Jamaican patois, the Haitian Creole, which I'm sure you can still hear today. I didn't ask the people that I talked to, but I could have, and one of them actually had a really strong accent, so I'm positive he's speaking some native tongue from his country, where that might be Africa or Caribbeans. And as we could hear it from the car, this right here is the road, the Brooklyn Queens Expressway that connects the Brooklyn and the Queens. There's two sides. One is going one direction and the other one is going the other direction. Today, this is still one of the most important Caribbean neighborhoods here in New York City. Canarsie is still quiet, is still rooted, and I would say it has changed trends, but it has stayed real. It has stayed true to some things that have actually made this place so special. From one native culture who has really connected. Unfortunately, we do get to see these things in the park, but that's everywhere, anywhere around the world. Today, we have the parks, the churches, the gospel, the reggae music. There's even pride here, I'm sure, a neighborhood that the African American community needed and is today. Just by driving down the street and seeing the houses and seeing how well they're taken care of and how beautiful and gorgeous they are, you can tell how rooted and how real this community is. And I strongly recommend for anyone visiting New York to visit this area of New York City that I think most people don't know about, because I lived here for 13 years and no one has ever mentioned it. And I am somebody who does like to have deep conversations, to get to know the city, to get to know the people. I connected to all kinds of people from all around the world, including the people that were born and raised here. And I have never heard anyone speak about the natives American, the Canarsie people, and the Canarsie that we have today. And one thing that I would love to experience and to see is that summer in the park, because the community here, the Black community in the United States or in New York City specifically, really knows how to throw a barbecue and have some fun on the weekends. So that's something that would be nice to experience during the summer coming here. You really, really get to feel the vibe and the soul of the people. So before it was a neighborhood, Canarsie was known for its clams and oysters. For clams and oysters that got sold to the rest of the city, and I'm sure through the rest of the area of New York. There used to be an amusement park here in the early 1900s. Think of it as a mini Coney Island. Canarsie was once considered the end point of a cross Brooklyn canal that never got built, but that was interesting. Somehow throughout history, Canarsie always stayed out of the spotlight. People didn't really talk much about it, which is why I think it has preserved so well, and you can really feel the soul when you come here. So next time someone talks to you about New York City, about Brooklyn, tell them about Canarsie. Not the trendy, not the loud. Tell them about the land that remembers the neighborhood with layers. The people who came, stayed, and loved it enough to call it home. And many of them still do today. Remember to subscribe. It means the world, so I can continue sharing with you unique stories and my own experiences. Thank you for watching. I will see you soon with another video. Jupiterines! We had to make our favorite stop here at Fuego Naju in Queens. And while we're doing that, I wanna give a shout out to Leah and Jason, who really made my day today working at Canarsie. And Jason takes care of the stray cats in that area. And in a moment, I'll share with you the burgers that we got. I pretty much always get the same one. I get the pata burger, but why not share it again? Maybe you will come one day and check it out. Calls, we're going. Naju, we miss you here, but Lisbeth is awesome. So we're gonna get our order. Ah! Muchas gracias. I like how they're putting it in the paper bag and the drinks. Te devuelvo eso ahora porque no voy a necesitarlo, pero te lo dejo.
No te preocupes, gracias.
Gracias a ti. Hey. Sí, pavito. Ah. Let's open this.
Here it is. Oh man.
Fuego. Hey, this is yours.
All right.
We got extra of the
How do we
sauce,
start
of
this?
course, we always do, because how can we not? Our favorite sauce.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh my god! The treat we get to have. You know, it feels so good to not come here that often, because when we come here, it's something so special, right, baby?
Mm-hmm.
This used to be our date spot when we first met. He took me here and I loved it so much. Oh my god, look at that. How can you not? I mean, wow. How is it? Can you show us?
Very good.
Can you show us?
Wow.
Can you show to the camera? Oh, you've never done this, baby. Look. Look at that. Wow, it's like stuffed to the maximum. I can rarely finish it. Pretty much always have leftover.